Welcome, lovely Capricorn, to your general timeless reading. I will begin your reading with interpretation of what came through during clairaudience and clairvoyance. And also, I will be scrying the crystals and the turban seashell. And as divinely guided, I will pull from the symbolic cards and or the uh, oracle cards as well. I do have some charms at the end for you too, again, as spiritually guided. Just a little note, Capricorn, I wanted to do something a little different, and this is what Spirit guided me to do. So I'm just doing this to switch things up a little bit, and I will see you next time with the usual type of readings. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll, lovely Capricorn, and see what Spirit has in store. Holy Spirit, Holy Divine, all who are with me in the highest divine realms of love and truth, I ask for clear understanding, clear communication, and interpretation skills to bring forth the most loving, truthful information that Capricorn needs to know most. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so Capricorn, let's see. You will see at 10:10, if I can get it to show up, 10:10, you see the date. This morning, I had a whole lot of downloads that came through, and I had to stop what I was doing. Okay, and I'm going to go over these with you. Now, usually, what my guides will do if there's a whole lot of information, especially if it has to do with pretty much the same topic, what they'll do is they will come in and they will play a skit for me. And usually they'll have a male voice and a female voice so that as they switch back and forth, uh, pretending their roles, so that I can understand with this human mind, right? Um, what they'll do is they'll make it evident the way to me, the way that they're acting things out. Okay. It's the best way that I can explain it. Okay. So the first thing that I got was a mail came through and said mission changes. Okay. And he said it very matter of fact. Now, so Capricorn, what's happening here is um, there's something about those of you who are watching me, you feel drawn to this reading no matter when you see it. There's something about a direction change. Again, something's going on here for Capricorn, but it's something that needs to be. Okay, so it's like, I was shown and told where I'm supposed to ultimately be, right? But then I was guided to where I'm at right now for a short period of time before I go there. So, so that was already a mission change. Okay. So now we're getting another one. So that could be something as simple as you thought were going to volunteer at a certain program, and all of a sudden you are being told or guided by spirit to go a completely different direction or do the same thing in another location. Okay, something like that. For others of you, it could be more extreme. It could literally be moving to another location, kind of like what I'm going. Spirit likes to use the extreme with me for some reason, it seems. But I know a lot of you Capricorns watching me, it's the same thing for you. And we've had to learn to be very flexible. And that show Capricorn, Touched by an Angel, that's how I feel a lot of the times, because I do all things spiritually guided. And so when you live a life like that, you really never know how long you're going to be in a certain place because things like this happen, right? Whether it's a job, an area you live, whatever, right? Because there's a huge divine purpose in this, so that we can live out our purpose helping humanity, especially if you feel that you are a star seed, a light worker, a chosen one. Then we are on this certain mission that we came here to fulfill. So part of that is not always knowing what's ahead and just trusting that we will be led. And as long as we trust and we allow spirit to guide us everywhere we go, beautiful things always come out of it. Okay, it says, so then the same male that said mission changes, he came in and said, don't let it change me. And then he said, if you could see it, and then it said halfway. Okay, so what I feel like here, there's some kind of abundance coming in for you, Capricorn. Okay, don't let it change me. And that's what I felt, mission changes. So for some of you, I'm just going to give you an example. Okay, you'll have to take this how it resonates, because it doesn't have to be money. It could be, some kind of, um, like extreme happiness that's coming in for you, or, love that you've never known, so it can be many different things. But I'm just going to use for an example, money. Okay. So let's say that you receive an inheritance, Capricorn, and it's a pretty large sum. Okay. Something that you would consider a large sum. And it's like spirit is playing this out. In other words, like as if Capricorn, don't let this change me. Okay. Like telling you, don't let this change me. So it's like you're going to be getting some kind of upgrade. Some of you, it could be a spiritual upgrade. Okay. But there's some kind of upgrade that's coming, and there is a potential for Capricorn to, gosh, how can I say this? Okay, let's just say Spirit knows there's a potential for Capricorn to go the wrong direction. Okay, when whatever this abundance is, it's almost like getting too comfortable. And Spirit wants to make sure, Capricorn, and guys, I'm a Capricorn sun, so I'm right here with you. I'm not pointing fingers. It's something that, Spirit's just really wanting us to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to change with prosperity, that we need to make sure we always stay grounded and stay who we are. Now, I'm not saying don't change. Change is good. We all need to change, and as long as we are evolving, progressing forward. Okay. But spirits saying, in other words, not to let this go to our heads, whatever this is. And just keep a sound, calm, clear mind. Of course, be excited. It's beautiful news. Whatever this is, whatever this change is, it's going to bring in some kind of something that's going to make us excited. But at the same time, when it happens, especially as time goes on, Spirit doesn't want us to forget why we're here. Doesn't want us to forget our mission, because then it says halfway. Don't let it change me, and then halfway. So in other words, again, I'm going to use money in the same situation. So let's say, for example, you receive a large sum of money, and you are thinking, okay, well, you know what? I have this money, so now I don't have to work as hard doing this over here. When you were doing this over here, just like my readings, okay, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this for humanity, right? It's part of my purpose. So it would be a situation of, if I said, you know what, I just received all this money. I can hold back on this because this really, it's not bringing me any income, and I can just stop, because I've got money coming in now. Spirit's saying, don't do that. Or I can just come on here whenever, and just post, right? Spirit's saying, no more, Capricorn, doing halfway. We have been, under, oh my gosh, we have been under Pluto's, I don't know what you want to call it, possession. That's what I'm going to call it in my situation. It feels like it was a possession of Pluto, for 50, well, let's see, for me, for almost 53 years. Okay. So when it finally detached itself from Capricorn, so tightly, right? Where everything would just keep going backwards, right? When Capricorn would get almost to the finish line, something would explode, right? And, then we would have to just start all over again. We were constantly having to learn to build, but there's a reason for that, because Those of us coming in as starseeds, light workers, chosen ones, we had to go through these things. It was already planned out. The divine already knew when we came here. We already knew when we came here that we were going to be dealing with Pluto. We already knew this, okay? But it was designed that way to keep us constantly having to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, so that when we get to this point when Pluto finally leaves with such a harsh attachment, that Pluto had, um, all of a sudden we have all these skills and it comes natural to us. It comes easily. No, it may not be fun, but it comes easily. Okay. It's kind of like, I'm going to use myself as an example again. Okay. So like I'm this type of person. So, for the last, I don't know, since I left home, I've had it really hard. I made good money, but at the same time, I had it really hard a lot of times because of the same thing. I was constantly, having to run for my life or, whatever, and leaving everything I had after I had bought everything. Everything in the house would be full and, all this stuff, right? And then having to run for my safety and leave everything behind and then having to start over somewhere else, right? And so that happened time and time and time again, right? So I know that there are times, many times in my life when I've had nothing but like flour and, butter and milk and eggs and a few, just the few staple things. And I had to learn how to feed myself, two kids, and make huge meals out of it and make it last. And see, the thing is, when we go through situations like that, when we literally feel like we're stripped down to nothing, then those are, if I can say this, are our most important moments in our lives, because we are learning something very valuable for the future. So now, because I've had to do that so many times in my life, and the more you do something, the more your mind starts working. Like, oh, if I add this and this and this together, I've got pancakes over here, I've got cornbread here. I've got, you see what I'm saying? And before you know it, everybody's so full. May not be what everyone wants, but everyone is so full, no one can eat another bite, right? And there's still plenty more for many more meals to come, right? So, my point is, fast forward year after year after year of doing this, these things become normal. Okay, to Capricorn, they become very natural. So, should a situation happen in Capricorn's life that seems to be a challenge, it's almost not going to be a challenge anymore, at least not what it was years ago. Okay, because it seems like it's all of a sudden like, oh wait, I know what to do in this situation, and you just whip it up and it's done. Everybody's fed. It's no problem to Capricorn, right? Capricorn has had to learn how to take care of some very huge issues and challenges within our lives, right? So it's like this one huge preparation for now, for right now. Okay. Now, and then it says somebody's being punishable. You see right there, somebody's being punishable. Okay. So what that's telling me is someone's either talking about Capricorn punishable. That's telling me someone is like very angry at Capricorn about something. Someone's going to turn their back on Capricorn because it says somebody. So that's telling me one person, but somebody's being punishable. Then it says then a female came in and she said, and follow your heart. And she said it very calmly. And it was almost like a snicker was coming out, but it wasn't. But it was very lighthearted. So it was letting me know, hey, everything's going to be okay. Yeah, somebody may accuse you of something. And I feel like for most of us Capricorns, it could very well be something that was out of our control, but we get blamed for it. And I feel like what spirit is trying to bring forth here is, sometimes Capricorn, it's better I have found to just admit fault. Even now, I'm not saying on something that's crucial. I'm feeling like this is something that was out of Capricorn's control and something that's not like yes, it's important, but it's not like something to where, you could get into huge trouble, or, some kind of major chaos. I'm talking about like misunderstandings, emails not getting received or sent somehow, some kind of mix up there, uh, mess up with communication, understanding other people, or other people understanding what each other is attempting to bring across, things like that. Okay. And I feel like Spirit's saying, Capricorn, you have a wonderful heart. You're full of love, and Spirit's just saying, hey, Capricorn, don't let this destroy your heart, whatever this is, because compared to a lot of things going on in the world, this is going to be something very minor. Okay. Now, I'm not calling the situation itself minor, but I'm saying compared to a lot of the other things, this is going to be something minor, and it's more going to be something of where you may have the need. I've heard people say pick your poisons. I don't really like that saying. Okay. I don't. Um, but this is one time I'm going to kind of allow that to come out of my mouth, and I'll explain why. Because you may feel with your heart it's better in this situation to just apologize, admit full fault, explain, this was something out of your control, explain whatever you need to, but you really I don't see you needed to go in depth. And, then just, offer an apology and, say, I'm so sorry, I'll take all the blame, or I acknowledge, my part in this, however you feel personally you need to go about it. But whatever you do, you've got to use your heart. That's what Spirit's saying. Okay. And if you go with what your heart is telling you to do in that moment, because, I can sit here, Capricorn, and I can say, well, I will never, ever admit fault again because I've had to do that all my life, right? But, there are situations that are coming through here from Spirit that are situations like that. And it's going to be one of these things of, Capricorn, you might have to just take a big gulp and just say, you know what, I take accountability for my fault in this. And if you see that you don't know what happened, it was something out of your control, that's where the pick your poison comes in. Is it better to argue with the person and ruin a relationship? Or is it better to just apologize and move forward? I feel like that's a question that you will need to ask yourself in that situation. Okay. And then a young female, approximately 20 years old, she came in and she said, Michelle. Now, by doing that, see, this was for Capricorn's reading, and I am Capricorn Sun. So by her coming in, and well, at least I will say she, but it's a female voice. By this voice coming in as a different person than the people playing the skit, okay, that's telling me it was trying to get my attention, to let me know that this is for Capricorn, okay? Because that's how they relay to me sometimes. Also, the same male came back in, and he said, those reins are gonna kick in, exclamation point, okay? He said, you're it. So Capricorn, and I'll show you, says, let me make sure I've got you on here. Hang on just a minute. Okay, right here, male. Those reins are going to kick in. You're it. So with that, it's like this male guide was explaining that, hey, Capricorn, when this situation takes place and you use your heart, you're going to realize, um, that, hey, I'm going to put this in God, the divine's hands, right? And because this was something out of my control, I don't know what happened, or I don't know how to explain the situation because I really didn't do anything. Just, or whatever this was or is going to be for you. Um, but it's like Spirit saying that once you hand that over to the divine and say, say your prayer, however you want to do that, and, say, I give you this situation fully because I don't know what else to do with it. When you do that and you hand it over, take a deep breath, cleanse yourself, whatever you need to do. And then it's like when that situation's done, those reins are going to kick in. It's like all of a sudden Capricorn snaps in a beautiful way. Okay. I'm not talking about snapping on a person with your emotions. I'm talking about it's like, oh, snap. Everybody looking at Capricorn and saying, what the heck? Capricorn is on it. Capricorn is being, very productive or doing this or whatever. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, because those reins are going to kick in. You're it. Okay. And so it's kind of like, like Capricorn's going to take the lead, the reins. Okay. Capricorn's going to be guiding those reins in Capricorn's mission that's being detoured or completely changed, whatever the case is going to be for us. Okay. So then the male came in and said, I do not love you anymore. So again, I'm definitely feeling like there's going to be something about miscommunication here, or someone misunderstanding someone's words, actions, something. Okay. And someone is going to turn their back on Capricorn because of this. Okay. So again, Capricorn, I've already went over what I feel like Spirit's saying the best way to take care of this situation is by using your heart, um, using the extreme love in your heart, being honest and truthful. And then see, what happens is it's up to the other person whether they accept it or not. Sometimes people, if they're an angry person, they're not gonna want to hear any type of apology. Other people will appreciate the apology. It's just going to depend on your situation and who you're apologizing to, right? However, the main thing to remember here is, Capricorn, be the better person. Spirit's asking us to be the better person, okay? Um, and apologize and give the rest to God. And then it's going to be up to the other person whether they accept it or not. Okay. See, the thing that we have to remember, Capricorn, we are all coming here to teach others and to learn from others. Okay. For soul growth. That's the main gist, not the only reason, but it's the main gist of why we come into this 3D world. Okay. Now, the very last thing that came through, I was shown in vision a very large, it was like a show dog, and it came through as a poodle. Okay. Now, the poodle, of course, we all know show dogs. They have them. They have the man. I guess you call them a manicure. I don't really know. They have their nails done, and they have them sheared and everything, just so. And this poodle had, like the pom head, and then was shaved everywhere except around its head, its legs, its neck, and its tail. So, very like very high society type breed. Now, a dog itself is representative of love, best friend, kindness, loyalty, trust, and protection. However, when I'm dealing with a certain dog breed, um, a dog breed and cat breed, those are significant within themselves. They have an additional meaning than just dog or just cat. Okay. So before I go that direction, I'm going to read some things to you about the actual meaning of the poodle that are important for this reading. But when I saw this poodle, the poodle was looking at me, both eyes open, telling me the poodle, which is our spirit guide, we are having that poodle energy as our spirit guide for this situation. So the dog came through and it winked at me, okay, with its right eye, and it smiled really, really big, like everything's going to be okay, Capricorn. Everything's going to be just fine. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the site that I had on here about the dog. Here it is. Okay. So this is on astrology. Come on. Astrology.com. Okay. And poodle spiritual meaning and symbolism. Okay. So I'm not going to read it all, just a little bit. I don't want to bore you guys, like any more than all this, that I already have all this information. Okay, so poodle symbolism. The poodle symbolizes elegance, intelligence, and loyalty. So we've got elegance. Now, what came through in the beginning? Do not allow this to change me, right? There's some kind of abundance coming in here to us, Capricorn, in some manner. And when it comes, we have to remember that we need to stay loyal, not only to ourselves, but to spirit, to God, to the divine. Okay. We cannot allow this to change while we're here. Okay. They are known for their graceful appearance and playful demeanor, representing sophistication and charm. And guys, if you all have not been playing, having a good balance between work and play, Spirit's asking you to do that right now, because right now is like we're going into like a manifestation portal. So Spirit's really wanting you to look at how much quality time do you have with family away from work, or how much quality time do you have for yourself going and having fun. Listen, since I've moved, I have a bicycle now, and one of my dreams moving from the mountains to where I am at present, there are bike trails. It's all flat where I live, and that's on purpose, um, and it's amazing to me. It's flat like Florida, but I'm completely in the opposite direction of Florida. But it's like I can now go on the trails and ride a bicycle on flat ground. Yeah, there's tiny, tiny hills, um, or I would even call them hills. It's basically flat. But to me, this is play. This is something that I have been wishing for since I was 18 years old, when I used to ride my bicycle, right? So I'm being like a 16, 18-year-old again. It feels wonderful. It feels free. And so I feel like that's what Spirit's saying here, Capricorn. Plus I'm learning to do things that I didn't get to do, when I was 16 and 18 years old. Because I know Capricorns, a lot of us had extremely rough lives, right? Like some of us may have grew up in money, but we had, a parent, or some of us could have been both parents that, we went through some form of abuse. Others of us, maybe we didn't grow up in money. Maybe, it was a struggle every day to have food on the table when we were children. But whatever we went through as children, it's almost like for many of us that our lives were stripped from us, and we had to grow up very, very fast and be mature. I know for myself, when I was very young, even like 11 and 12 years old, I had certain family members that would literally tell me all the time that I needed to be an attorney because I was so smart as a child. But it wasn't that I was so smart. It was because I had already been through so much, and I had to play parent, right? I had to play my mother's role, um, because I had to always stand up for her. I had to always stand up to my dad for my mom, right? For truth. So it's like things that were stripped away from Capricorn's life when they were younger and couldn't really fulfill a true childhood. It's like now's the time for Capricorn to make sure to implement that in our lives. And as we do that at the same time as being within this poodle spirit, um, it's like abundance is going to come right in because we're going to be so happy, so joyful, and feel so free. Freedom is key. Freedom is absolute key, whether it's emotional freedom, spiritual freedom, being able to practice what spirituality that you would like to practice. Whether it's, I don't know if I said financial, but mental freedom, financial freedom, physical freedom, the freedom is what we should be seeking after here. And have, like a really, really good balance. Also, the poodle. I'm gonna laugh. Listen, laugh with me, guys. The poodle totem animal, those who resonate with the poodle as their totem animal are often creative, social, and highly intuitive individuals. Right there it is. Okay. Read this for yourself, guys. The poodle totem teaches the importance of self expression and the power of companionship. Okay. So I feel like your spirit, again, is saying, make sure to have a fine balance between work, play, make sure, and your family, don't eradicate, spending time, a good balance of time with family. And when I say family, I'm not always just talking about biological family, right? Those that you consider family, okay? Um, Now it says poodle power animal. When the poodle appears as your power animal, it signifies time of transformation and growth. The poodle's energy can guide you through challenging situations with grace and resilience. Okay, so here's the last thing I'm going to read, and then I do ask Capricorn, please research this on your own and pull out what you feel like means for you. Allow the poodle to be your spirit guide symbolism for now, and that will really help you navigate this situation. Okay, so it says what it means if you see a poodle. Seeing a poodle can be a sign of good luck and positive energy. So remember, it was winking and smiling at me, right? It may indicate that you should trust your instincts and follow your intuition, follow your heart. Remember, in a particular situation. So, see, I can't make this stuff up. So, this was all from Spirit, divine message, very, very beautiful. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and roll. I'm going to see Spirit. I know that this has been going on a long time. Spirit is pulling me to the crystals. Spirit is not going to let me skip. Okay, I was going to try to cut something back, but nope, Spirit's not going to allow me to. Okay, what would you like to tell lovely Capricorn here? Okay, is this Capricorn? Okay, so Capricorn, I feel like there's some kind of control here going on. It could be psychological, trauma from the past. Okay. For others of you, of course, you could be in a situation right now where there's like some kind of massive control or manipulation going on in your life. What I'm seeing, Capricorn, it's like you're coming through with both hands up on, like one hand on each side of your head, kind of like, like when you put your hands on your head and you're like, I can't take anymore, right? That's what I'm seeing. And I'm also seeing a little boy and a little girl. This is just symbolic, that are hanging on to like your knees and down. Okay. Um, Now, coming out of your head, so this is attached. So that's why I'm saying it could be some kind of trauma from the past that you still haven't been able to fully release yet. For some of you, I'm seeing a humongous head attached to your crown chakra. Now, our crown chakra, for me, symbolically, and how my abilities operate are through the 6th and 7th, which is the crown chakra, aligning myself into Christ consciousness and the Akashic records, right? And well, also into consciousness itself. Okay, so what I'm feeling here is where this thought for some of you, or this actual controlling manipulative person is very close to you because it's attached. So either, again, some of you are like in the actual physical vicinity of this person right now, or um it's like you can't get that person out of your head because of things they've done to you, things you've been through in the past. I feel like that's for most of you more so uh than the, vice versa there. But now here's the thing. Um, the little children. I feel like the little children, usually when I see children, um, it is symbolic of some type of work, research, hobby, starting a new side hustle, something like that. Um, and every once in a while, it can be about literal children. So, what I feel like here is I'm getting twofold. I feel like, on one hand, some of you Capricorn, um, you this is something that either you're being triggered, or you just are having trouble releasing when thoughts come into your mind about a past person and past situations here. um, some of you may actually have children that either this involved your children, from that person or that situation, or it's like you're afraid that, in other words, like when someone hurts us, we want to do the opposite for our children, right? That's what most of us want to do, right? We want to be we want to be the good parent, right? When we've went through abuse, right? We want to be the good parent, but there are those situations where people who were abused, they choose, another path, right? And so it could be a situation for some of you Capricorn where it's like you you know what you went through, and you've got little children, or children that are at least pretty young, and you want to make sure, it's like you're like, oh, I can't take this anymore, and I've got to make sure that I'm the better person here. I've got to make sure that I'm the best parent for my children. I've got to make sure that, I don't repeat the mistakes of people before me, right? And then for most of you, I feel like what's going on here is it's like this controlling person or situation. If these children are representative of some type of business, or some kind of opportunity that you've been trying to get going time and time again, because there's more than one child, so that would be more than one attempt. Okay. um it's like they can never grow to adulthood. They could never grow to maturity, because this manipulated person is always like, or was always right there, kind of like standing over you in a sense, um, making sure things were done their way and only their way, and to the point to where, like, you could not grow your manifestations because of another person, whether it was their anger, their manipulation, whatever. um, and so I definitely feel like that's what Spirit's saying. But now, to the side of all of this, it's like I'm seeing a great big uh, hippo that is mixed with a rabbit. So a rabbit is symbolic for, some people say very lucky. I don't really believe in luck myself. I believe in manifestation. But I do feel like this animal, because it's mainly coming through as a rabbit, I feel like the main focus here is about some kind of abundance. Rabbit can mean abundance, and quick abundance, happening fast, multiplying quickly. So that could be money for you, or it could mean, again, lots of happiness. We had this come through already once. So here it is again coming through. um, that it could be, excessive happiness, an abundance of that that's coming through for you, or love. But whatever this is, there's so much of it, and it's going to really come in quickly. So again, we want to make sure we stay grounded. Yes, be excited, be very, very, very happy, but always remember why we are headed the direction we're headed. Okay, because it's part of our purpose. It's all part of the plan, right? Okay, so Spirit, anything else from this? Oh, yes, we got to go to the shell. Okay, what would you like to tell Capricorn, please? Okay, who is Capricorn? Okay, I don't know why Spirit's asking me to do this, but I have to do as instructed. Spirit asked me to remove the shell and read the shell. So here, Spirit, see, I set the shell on the crystals because it's all about energy. It's a frequency. It helps emit. Okay, so that when I do this, I can see visions through here at a certain frequency. Okay, so Spirit has just asked me to remove this from this frequency. So this is something to do with frequency change. That's all I know, guys. I don't have all the answers. But let's see. What would you like to tell me, please, Spirit? Okay. And who is Capricorn? Oh, okay, I see. Capricorn, you've been praying for something. I'm seeing what is representing Capricorn. You're coming through as a feminine girl, I would say adolescent, approximately 15, 16 years old. You are down on your knees, and it's like you are in prayer position, okay? And there are guides. There's like angels and all kinds of guides dressed in white who are around you, and it's like some of them are shocked, but it's like in a caring manner. It's like, oh, Capricorn is ready. Capricorn's asking for this. It's time. You see, that's what I'm talking about as far as shock. It's like, oh, the spirit team knows. Okay, Capricorn's ready. Capricorn's ready to move forward. We got to get on it now. Okay. It's that kind of feeling. Now, remember what came through. Capricorn is taking the reins. You're it. Okay. So it's kind of like tag, you're it. It's time, Capricorn. Something major is getting ready to happen in your life. Okay. And it's something, part of this is going to be something you prayed for. However, what I'm feeling here is that it is what you're going to be receiving is going to be so much more than what you had been praying for. So let's say you were praying, I need $10,000. I need to move. I need money for this, and please help me figure out a way, right? So it would be a situation of not only would you receive that $10,000, it could be 12 or 20, but at the same time, you're going to be receiving like happiness like you've never felt before, or run into your soulmate, or the list goes on and on. But there's something absolutely beautiful and amazing that is getting and it's about changing your energy. Capricorn, make sure. Okay, I get it. Thank you, Spirit. It's all about keeping your energy at a certain frequency. Let me go back to what Spirit gave me. Okay. Remember, mission, well, mission changes. Don't let it change me. Don't let it change me. We have to make sure that we find that sweet spot, okay? Wherever we are spiritually, wherever we are energetically, to align with God and the divine, to receive our downloads, we've got to make sure that we stay there in that energy or higher. Okay. We don't want to allow ourselves to sink down to a lower frequency, because think about this, guys. This is what I'm getting intuitively. Okay. A lot of times right before something amazing breaks through, there we go through this slump of we're like almost as low as you can go, right? Either we're stressed out or we couldn't be stressed out anymore being in a living body, right? Or we have lost everything, right? There's nothing else we could lose. It's like a feeling like that, like spirit saying something where this change is getting ready to take place. It could feel like a tower moment briefly, okay, just briefly, while this is happening. And Spirit's telling you, no matter what happens during this tower moment, do not change your frequency lower. See, me putting this here brought it to a lower frequency. It doesn't have the extra energies coming from these crystals. So it's going to show different visions now for me sitting here on the crystals than it did here. I hope this makes sense. So Spirit's saying, Capricorn, don't do this. Don't do this, when it seems like things are turning upside down. Know ahead of time, hey, God is changing my direction. It is on purpose and it is for my mission, right? And when you know that, and you know, hey, okay, I have to keep my vibration calm, grounded, and I cannot allow it to lower. If you accidentally, let's say it's something that just comes up from behind, you absolutely, sorry guys, hang on. Let's say it comes up from behind and it absolutely knocks you off your feet, metaphorically, right? Um, that's okay. Okay. Get yourself together, take a deep breath, go meditate, ground. Okay. Come back to your frequency where you normally would be or higher. Okay. Begin being grateful and thankful for all the beautiful abundance and the new path you are being sent down, because I assure you, my friends, whatever this is, once you get over that hurdle, oh my gosh, you are going to be like so happy. You're going to see the miracle in this situation, and it's going to feel like you are literally living a miracle. This is beautiful. Okay, Spirit, do you want me to go here? I'm just letting Spirit guide me, guys. I know usually I've been trying to keep the readings between 15 and 20 minutes, but I'm doing this set a little differently for myself and for you guys. Which one? This one's the most energetic. Okay, so I'll start here and then I'll have to go to this deck. Spirit, Holy Divine, what would you like to tell lovely Capricorn, please? Thank you. Okay, what do we have? Radiant Goddess, acceptance. You are an amazing goddess, ready to fully understand how significant you are. See, Capricorn, we're being rerouted because this is for humanity. Okay, we chose to come back here to help humanity, to help be way showers. I feel like there's some kind of energetic shift out of our control, right? That's going on. So that's what it's almost like a call from the divine saying, hey, Capricorns, mission has changed, okay, because of whatever reason. So now we're having to take Capricorn in this direction for humanity, because the other won't work now because something has happened. And I honestly don't know what, I don't watch the news, so I honestly don't know what it is. The only time I know is when people that watch the news, contact me and say, hey, did you hear about whatever? And I'm like, no, then they tell me, or I'll look it up then. Okay, so tap into your power by owning your beauty and potential by not making any apologies for it. Yes, now this is totally different, okay, than what I was talking about earlier. About it may be a situation where Capricorn may need to just take a deep breath and take a big gulp and just, apologize. If it's a situation of if it's not worth losing a good friend over, or not worth causing some kind of chaos over. Um, this is different. So I'm gonna explain this, okay? So in other words, remember the dog, right? The poodle. The poodle, let me bring it up because I want to read it to you. I want you guys to hear this, okay? Very important. Okay. Seeing a, let's see, is it, no, wait a minute, it's right here. Yes, okay. This one. Poodle by symbolism. The poodle symbolizes elegance, intelligence, and loyalty, right? They are known for their graceful appearance and playful demeanor. Right here it is, representing sophistication and charm. It's right here. Okay. So it's like spirit is telling you that being your authentic self, okay, standing in your beauty, which is the beauty of God, the beauty of God's divine. That is you stepping into your goddess role, your goddess energy, which is of a much higher frequency. Okay. And not to apologize. That person that was coming through earlier, coming out, attached to your head, it's like there's no need. It's saying don't apologize to that person. That person is a very toxic person. That's not the person I'm talking about at the beginning where there may be some miscommunication. Okay. This person, I'm talking abusive, very, very toxic somehow. Now, in that situation, that's what this is for. Okay. Not making any apologies for stepping into your goddess energy here, Capricorn. This is so beautiful. I know it's been very long, but I have to give you what I feel Spirit wants to give you, okay? All right, let's go ahead and go through the charm. I'm going to put them here so you can see. Spirit, what would you like to give Capricorn? Okay, what do we have? Wait, we have three? Do we have three? We have three. Okay, cool. Okay, so the first one, we have unicorn. Okay. Unicorn for me, in this situation, I feel like is symbolic. The horn on the unicorn is actually for me like the Ace of Wands in the tarot. The Ace of Wands, or also the King of Wands and Queen of Wands. It can mean a lot of passion if it's a relationship, because unicorns are about, like the magic of life, miracles, if you will. But it's like the passion of life, really having a fire under your bottom and really being a go-getter. And remember the reins, right? That's the fire. The reins. Capricorn is going to have the reins under their bottom, right? So that they can get things done, get things going. And Spirit said, you're it. Like tag, you're it. It's your turn, Capricorn. It's Capricorn's turn for abundance to go after whatever this is and make it happen. Okay. And so that's about passion now. But if it's a like a partnership, like romantically, then this for me representing a wand is a male part. Okay. Um, then we have, oh, yeah, I love it. Look, rocket. See? Capricorn is going to be taking this by the reins. You're going to be going, it's like blast off time. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Capricorn's gaining her crown, his crown. This is not gender specific. But the card says goddess, okay? So it doesn't matter, God, goddess, but Capricorn is gaining the crown. Okay, guys, this is absolutely beautiful. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Capricorn, okay? This is just, I'm so happy for you guys. Just the main thing with all of this is stand in your truth, pick your battles wisely, right? If it's not worth arguing over or standing up for, let it go. Just let it go, Capricorn. Apologize. You know, sometimes these things happen to test us, to test other people when we don't have an answer. Why something happened, how it happened. And the best thing we could do is either we can argue over it and demand that we were not a part of it or we were innocent, or we can just calmly say, you know, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I take, you know, responsibility on my end for whatever I did wrong. You know, please forgive me. And then put it in God's hands. And, you know, that's all we can do. Or just, you know, cause chaos. And I, you know, myself personally, I don't like being around chaos, and I don't like being that person that is starting chaos either, right? So we're being asked to stay, remember why we're here, remember why we're on this mission, okay? And whatever tower moment this may be, large or small, just remember that this is all part of the plan. It's something we're all having to go through. Um, all Capricorns, because some kind of shift happened that is out of our control, guys. And it's causing us to go in a completely different direction. Like spirit just had to like automatically change our soul contract, just like that. Like, hey, this is going on over here, and that's affecting all this over here this way. So now, if all the ones that are Capricorns that signed up to go this direction, to do this path, then it's not going to work now. So now we've got to configure another way to go about this to help humanity. Okay, so all right, I love you guys so much. I'm going to end it here. I'm sending each of you so much love, happiness, and success, my friends. And as always, find your miracle in everything, because guys, I promise you, if we look hard enough, we will find it. Much love.